Okay, in this lesson, we're going to discuss how to add and subtract unlike fractions. So the best way to do this is to kind of show you an example. And let's say we have a fraction like 1/2 plus 1/4. Okay, so how do we do this? The first step you need to do is to find the least common denominator. Okay, so in this case, 1/2 needs to be multiplied by 2/2. Okay. The reason we're going to multiply 1/2 by 2/2 is because the least common denominator in this case is 4. Okay. So once we do that, then the result is 2/4 plus 1/4. Okay. Now that the denominators are the same, we know that the answer is going to be in the denominator 4. Okay. And now we just add across the numerator. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay. So another example over here to the right. Let's say we have 1/2 plus 1/3. Okay. So with the 2 in the denominator and the 3 in the denominator, the least common denominator would be 6, right? So if we count multiples of 3, it would be 3, 6, 9. And then multiples of 2 would be 2, 4, 6, and the least common denominator, where they come together, where the numbers are the same, is 6. So to do that, we're going to need to multiply the 1/2 by 3/3 and 1/3 by 2/2. Okay. Now we multiply it out and we get 3/6 plus 2/6. And the answer in the denominator would be 6, and we multiply across the numerator, it would be 3 plus 2, which is 5. Okay? Fairly simple, right? So this is adding unlike fractions, but it's positive adding another positive. Okay? What happens when one of them is negative? Okay, well, let's explore that. So let's suppose we have negative 3/4 plus 5/6. Okay, so what do we do here? Let me erase this and redraw that. Plus 5/6. Okay, what does that equal? Well, we need to find the least common denominator, right? And if we count multiples of 6, it'd be 6, 12, 18. Multiples of 4 would be 4, 8, 12. Oh, 12 is the least common denominator. So how do we get to 12 in the first fraction? Well, you multiply that by 3/3. And in the second fraction, we get the 12 by multiplying it by 2/2. Okay. Then we multiply it out and we get negative 9/12 plus 10/12. Okay. Now that the denominators are the same, we know the answer is going to be 12 in the denominator. And then we add negative 9 plus 10. Okay. Negative 9 plus 10. Remember, we need to treat them like positive integers, right? So again, 9, 10. What is the difference between 9 and 10? 1. Okay. we're going to put the answer 1 up here. And which one is the larger number? In this case, it's 10. And what is the sign in front of the 10? That's a positive. And therefore, our 1 in the numerator stays as positive, and our answer is 1/12. Okay? Let's take a look at another one. This is exactly like adding and subtracting integers. Okay? In this case, with unlike fractions, the only extra step is you need to find the least common denominator first. Okay? So, how about this? A smaller fraction subtracting a larger fraction. Okay? Let me redo this. Subtracting a larger fraction. And what does that equal? Okay, first is to find the least common denominator. Okay, multiples of 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12. Multiples of 4 is 4, 8, 12. And we land on 12 for both of them. So the least common denominator will be 12. So we multiply the first fraction by 3/3. And the second fraction by 4/4. Okay, we multiply that out, and we get 3/12 minus 8/12. Okay, well, how do we do this? We need to change this negative right here. Okay, this negative right here. Okay, we don't like that. So we're going to rewrite this so it looks like this. 3/12 plus negative 8/12. Okay, now we've got a positive integer adding to a negative integer, and we remember the rule on this, right? So we know the answer is going to be 12 in the denominator, and we're going to treat the numerator 3 as a positive and this one as a positive for now. And we ask ourselves, what is the difference between 3 and 8? 5. So we put the 5 up here. Then we identify the larger number, and we ask ourselves, what is the sign in front of the larger number? It's a negative, and therefore the sign here has to be negative. And the answer is negative 5/12. Okay. One more example. Let's say we have negatives everywhere. Okay. Let's say we've got negative 7/8 minus negative 7/9. Okay, what does that equal? Well, let me rewrite this again. Get rid of the positives and then get rid of the negatives as much as we can. So we know when we have a negative, when we're subtracting a negative, so two negatives close together, these can now become positives. Okay, so let's rewrite this. Negative 7/8 plus 7/9 equals, okay. Now we need to find the least common denominator. Multiples are not of 9 are 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72. Okay, multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24. Let me write these out because it's probably easier to see them. So multiples of 9 are 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72. Okay, multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. There we go. We've got a match. Okay, so the least common denominator is 72. So we're going to multiply the first fraction by 9 over 9 and the second fraction by 8 over 8. Okay, then the result would be negative 63 over 72 plus 56 over 72. Okay, now that we have the same denominator in both fractions, we know the answer. Denominator in the answer will be 72. Now we've got a negative 63 and a positive 56 in the numerator, so we need to treat this as positives for now. Okay, what is the difference between 63 and 56? Well, to go from 56 to 63, I need to add 7. Okay, so we know the answer up here is going to be 7. Then we got to look at the larger of the two numbers. In this case, it's 63. And what is the sign? It's a negative. So we need to put a negative over here. Okay. And one other thing, we need to think about whether or not 7 goes into 72, meaning can we reduce this fraction? Okay. 7 does not go into 72 evenly, and therefore negative 7 72nd is our final answer. Okay. So hopefully you can see that it's important to know, so be able to add and subtract unlike fractions, you have to know how to add and subtract integers, okay? And you need to know how to add and subtract like fractions. So when you put them both together, you can now add and subtract unlike fractions. Okay, as usual, if there was any part of this lesson that you did not fully understand, please go back in this video and re-listen to it again. Thank you.